host team, skipped by Alan Marshall. Our featured game this afternoon on Tuesday is Red Ones from British Columbia, skipped by Lepine. The Blue Rocks from Manitoba, skipped by Malanchuk. Good afternoon and good filming.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome to the Kings County 2016 Canadian Masters here at the Wolfville Curling Club. My name is Jim Nix and I'm joined this afternoon by Edie Lloyd. Good afternoon, Edie.
Hi, Jim. Good to see you again.
How you doing? I just got here, but you've been here most of the week. How's it been going?
It's been great. The organizing committee has done a really bang-up job. I'm getting good feedback from the Alberta support staff right here next to me, and they've had everything good to say, so it's rolling along.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I see pom-poms out. I see all kinds of stuff going on beside us. So it should be an exciting afternoon. We've got a great game here this afternoon with BC and Manitoba. I think both teams are cruising along pretty well.
Yes, I think they're both 3-1 at this point, and it should be a very interesting and good game. The girls like they're ready to go.
Yeah, I think we have two really good teams, and I expect to have lots of action. It should be a great afternoon. 8 end games, much the same as the seniors last week.
Yeah, we watched, we did the Newfoundland game yesterday on sheet 3, and the ice looked like it was pretty true, and there was lots of curl, and so it should make for an interesting game.
Yeah, I expect ice makers Tony Sterling here. Tony does a great job. We were down to the intermediates last year, and in both Wolfville and Kentville, I think the ice is very similar, and it's fast and lots of curl, so it should be an exciting day. It looks like BC has won the draw to the button, and we'll have hammer, and Manitoba lead Ruth Wiebe, we hope we have her name right, leads it off with a draw in the house.
Yeah, she slid in, so it looks like they're calling a hit. BC calling a hit to start things off. Maybe they'll do the try to blank this end. You never know. It depends on what happens in the next couple shots.
So generally speaking with the Masters, have we seen a lot of rocks in play this week?
Well, yesterday, that's a good question. Yesterday, there was a variety. On our Newfoundland, Northern Ontario game, there was not a lot of rocks in play. But with the Steve Ogden Quebec game, Nova Scotia, Quebec, there was a lot of rocks in play. So it just varied from across the sheet to sheet who was playing. So.
Yeah, Steve Ogden, the host Nova Scotia men's champion, not the host. We have two teams in this event, but he won the Nova Scotia Masters. And I played Steve a number of times over the years, and a lot of rocks in play is not a rare occasion for Steve. He loves to have lots of rocks in play, and he's struggling a little here at 1-3, but he wins the next couple games. He probably makes the playoffs, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, Steve very capable of doing a finesse draw game and both takeouts. So with Steve, you never know. He brings his A game every time.
Right, pretty open end so far in this one. It's we're up to second stones now, or no, actually BC's lead second stone. Donna Christian, I just get that right. After I was just told it's Christian and not Christensen.
We're used to Christensen curlers in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, there's been a few of them around. They've had pretty good success. So good shot there. So pretty much made everything so far, these two teams. The leads are off to a great start.
Yeah, it looks like this is an outside-in takeout for the yellow Manitoba team. We'll see what happens if it's going to curl.
Tuck delivery, so it's typical Manitoba delivery from years ago, and obviously second stone Nancy Scammell has retained that and throws a good shot there. Tuckers are usually known as really good hitters, so no surprise to see her have no trouble with that one.
Like to see the tuck.
Yeah, I'd just like to be able to get in that position at my age. It's pretty interesting. This is Masters. You have to be 60 plus to play in this. So if you're sliding with a tuck delivery at this point, you've kept yourself in pretty good shape.
That's a very good point. We've seen amazing athletes this week. The sweeping and throwing. concentration that it takes for the whole week. Some of these teams have been at the seniors last week, so it can be a fairly on the mind exhausting week for skips, but here we have a few teams that have been last week in Digby and now here.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible when you really think about it. You know, you played these teams, if they made the playoffs, play more, but even if they didn't play 10 games last week, in the space of a week, 10 curling games, and now playing here, and they're going to play another, probably about the same here, I think, probably 9 or 10 games before the playoffs. So it's that's a lot of curling games in a basically a 2.5 week period.
It sure is. Really kudos to everybody. So we still have a clean house.
Yeah, probably at this point you'll see both teams really just playing in the rings. I think this is probably call is probably to throw it into the top of the 4-foot somewhere. Maybe not. They're leaving it a little short.
Nice to see our host team, Alan Marshall, over on sheet 1. He's against Yukon there, and they're just in their first end, so it's good to see the local guys playing.
Yeah, and they're very local. I think they're right from Kentville. Is that correct?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, that's terrific. So second stone, Susan Beuk is going to play the peel here, try to get rid of this guard. Skip Karen Lepine deciding it's late enough in the end that we'll just try to run this out and maybe blank and retain the hammer going to end number 2.
Jim, how do you like to play the first couple ends?
Well, it depends a little bit on how what your team's set up like. But I think with practice now being available, you get a fair bit of time on the ice. Certainly after 2 or 3 games, you've been kind of should have a feel for what's going on. I don't mind going at it in the first end. I really don't. I think that if you're ready to play in that first end, why not go ahead and play?
Sure. We watched Kevin Cooey this morning on TV blank the first 5 ends.
I never saw that one. I'll have to watch that when I get home. That's interesting.
They were playing Sweden.
Yeah, 2 of the teams favored to win at the world level. So we have a draw here, a little bit off the center.
Yes.
Okay, obviously, Karen will peel this out again.
Right. Sometimes you might decide to come around, but it looks like the end is shaping up for a blank.
Yeah, it's interesting. You see some names and some people that you're familiar with from over the years, watching them curl years ago, and certainly saw that a lot at the seniors last week, and a little bit here, although, like I say, I've just got here, so I haven't seen a lot of the action, but I certainly recognize several of the names of the skips, at least, as we move on through the event.
Sure, this is the third Diane Foster just through the takeout, and she is originally from Saskatchewan and from the Langley Cloverdale Curling Club, and she was at the Scott Tournament of Hearts in 1996, the Canadian Senior Curling Championship 2 years, and at the Canadian Masters, this will be her 5th appearance, so good resume for Diane.
Yeah, she's working her way west. If she was born in Saskatchewan, she lived in Alberta for a few years, represented them at the seniors, I believe, and then now residing in BC.
Yes, it looks that way.
The next stop would be Hawaii.
That sounds good.
Yeah, might have to quit curling, but it's not a bad option.
No, I think I'm with you.
Yeah, Diane was at the seniors last week, skipped a team out of BC at the seniors, and just barely missed making the championship round, and had a very, very good week. And they had a lot of fun, too. I hung out with them a little bit at the event, and it was a good time.
Yeah, they've had a couple good weeks. I hear the hospitality has been outstanding.
Yeah, I would think that probably the case. It usually is in this province, and I don't think there'd be any difference here, and certainly no difference in Digby. So good shot by Diane.
Rumor has it there's a Kaylee party tonight.
Yeah, I haven't got an invitation yet. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't been here long enough to get that, but I'll look at that a little later on. We're not televising that, are we? That's all just what happens at the Kaylee stays at the Kaylee.
Stays at the Kaylee. That's
okay.
the Nova Scotia rule. That's right.
That's probably a good plan. So all takeouts here. I'll tell you what, though, both teams came to play. Both teams making everything here in the first end. I think we have one rollout. Other than that, every shot's been made exactly as called.
I have a peek over at sheet 4. Alberta and Prince Edward Island are getting into it. There's a few rocks in play over there, and looks like it's good to see Ed Lukowicz. Haven't seen him for a very long time, but I remember watching as a kid growing up. Good to see him.
Well, exactly, yeah. Ned was at the seniors as well, and he really didn't play much for a lot of years. He went to the States and ran the U.S. program for I forget, 10 or 12 years, and then back curling. And last week at the seniors, he was saying his guys got together and they just decided, well, if we're going to play, we might as well play both, and then they go and win both. So
it's great to see him.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, he still throws a good stone. Watching some of these people, guys and girls that we haven't seen in a few years, and you watch them throw at these events, and you're like, wow.
They still got it.
Yeah, they really do. Maybe just don't quite have that high hard one anymore, but the deliveries are solid.
Yes, it's been fascinating to see.
So Karen Lepine will throw this out in the wings and just let Manitoba take a whack at it here in the first end and hopefully get an opportunity to blank.
Well, as a banner says here in the Wolfville Curling Club, it's the prime time men's curling banner. So not seniors, but prime time.
Prime time? That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, that's pretty neat.
So we have.
I think I could play in that now. Actually,
we have BC skip Lepine just getting ready to draw to an open house.
This will be an in-turn draw. Just throwing it in the. So what are we looking at here? The left side of the sheet as we look at it on the monitor. Karen using the sliding device, the stabilizer. A lot of the varieties of that in the market nowadays. This looks okay. I think it's sliding along pretty good. Girls are working it, but I think they're going to get it there.
It looks to me. You do see a few sliding devices around. I think Reed Crothers, does he use one in Manitoba, I think?
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Yeah,
he has sort of a funky one that he uses. He's started this year using that one for sure. They're great. I think they're a great tool for learning the game, and I think they're a good tool when maybe you get to that point where balance is a little bit of an issue, and it gives you a little extra support.
Yes, I liked mine for taking the pressure off that sliding knee. Was very helpful and keeps the shoulders more level.
Yeah. So Skip Malanchuk now will be throwing an out-turn hit here. We would like to stay here. Try to make sure that BC has to work a little bit to get the blank. Karen could have went around the corner guard. It's not a real good corner guard on the other side of the sheet, but she could have ducked one around there if she wanted, especially since it was her own. But she just chose to go ahead and keep it simple here. And
I think the hit theme is carrying through the end here. We'll see what happens.
This one's a little tight. She's going to have to go really hard. I don't think she's going to make this one, no.
Now that one was inside right from the get-go.
Yeah, just not a good delivery out of the hack, and all of a sudden we have an open draw for two after an end that was played perfectly. She won't be happy with that, but it's early and turn it around here in a little bit.
She'll strive for two with the hammer in the next end.
Yep.
See what happens here.
Yeah, you got to make it yet.
Got to make it. Anywhere in the paint will get her another point.
Normally here, I think that you would follow your last shot down, even though, and it looks like they are here as well. Mm-hmm. Even though sometimes you're tempted to draw just a 4-foot. It's a little bigger part of the house. But if you just threw this shot, why not throw it again?
Right, that's a good point. You know the pathway.
And especially early in the game where it's still going to be a little bit spotty. They do have practice, but generally speaking, teams like to keen up one side of the sheet. So it's on its way. Girls are on it right away. Diane coming way out to help.
Out to sweep.
They're going to have to work this one pretty hard, I think.
I think they're going to have to keep her going.
Karen's hollering at him. And I think she's going to make it there.
Oh, the sweeping. Fine. Excellent. they made it.
Yeah, great shot. Every now and then the skip makes one, and every now and then the sweepers make one. The sweepers made that one, so that's a great shot.
They did. Good point. We'll give you an update on the other sheet as soon as everybody's hanging the score up and let you know what's going on.
Yeah, 4 games going on here in Wolfville, and I think there's 4 games started, or will be starting in Kentville in an hour or so. Yeah, that'd be the way it is. Yeah.
3 o'clock, yes.
3 o'clock. Staggered draws for today. Just about to the end of the round robin here at the Masters, and we'll move to the crossover games. Basically, the top 4 teams in the division will make the playoff round, the championship side. So here we have BC, Manitoba, and New Brunswick all at 3-1 in Pool A. So all those teams are in pretty good shape. Ontario and Quebec lead Pool B at 3-1. Also, we should mention that Mark Cutcliffe's team, Team Nova Scotia, is 2-2 in the other pool. Still in good position. They just need to win out. Probably need to win their 2 games they have remaining to make the playoff round. But Mark's team's certainly capable of doing that, so we'll see how they get along later on. They're not here today. They must be at the other club, probably.
Yeah, I'm partial with Margie. She's my old skip, and Jill was my lead partner on the front end with that team a few years ago, so I'm leaning towards them and cheering them on.
Okay. So if you're doing one of their games, the viewers will now know why there's a little bit of bias in the commentary.
Well, I'll try not to.
Oh, okay. So first rock goes to the back of the 8-foot, and Skip Malanchuk now says, well, we're down 2. No point going after that or doing anything to that one. We'll throw up a corner guard and see if we can start to work on a little bit of offense.
Girls are sweeping hard again.
Yeah.
Manitoba team.
Not quite sure if that's, I assume that she's throwing a corner guard. The sweeping there would maybe indicate a little bit that they were trying to get it in the rings, but either way, wherever, it ended up in a great spot, so she should be able to use that later on.
I haven't got my trusty watch out to get a draw time, but maybe we'll do
Thank
that.
God for phones. This just looks really nice. Rocks really look like they're gliding well. It's always nice. Some speed is really nice, but sometimes you can have fairly quick ice that doesn't have that same glide to it, and as a sweeper, it makes you feel really tired. Mm-hmm. Not that I've done a lot of that in my life, but I'm sure that's the case. It just has to be true. Going right to the top of the 4-foot again. Karen Lepine with a 2-point lead, playing it pretty tight to the vest here in the second end.
That was a good shot.
Yeah, perfect.
Rick Bouchard, the Ontario skip, was commentating yesterday. He said the house is lively and the rocks are lively.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I think it's a great place to host this event. You've got 2 really terrific curling clubs with terrific volunteers and good ice. So going to have to go hard on this. A little tight out of her hand, throwing an out turn. Going to be hard to get a piece even. And she's by the rock. So bad early miss. A little bit of trouble for Manitoba here in the second end. I'm a little surprised by this call, but only because it's just hard to run out a game when you're playing peels on corner guards this early. I think I would have probably just went tight guard maybe on this one.
Right, and maybe on the center line.
Yep.
Looks like she's wanting to clean things up early.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not completely surprised. It's just hard to play that strategy out. Diane Foster working on it.
Like a nose hit.
Yeah, and that's just the trouble with that shot. If you're not going to be able to throw that one really hard, it's going to be hard to roll to the perfect spot. But it does exchange the color, so at least if they get behind it now, you can run back your own rock instead of the opposition's.
Maybe we'll give a little update on sheet 1. It looks like our Nova Scotia host team got a 3 in the first end, so it's 3-0 over Yukon. And I'll update on the other sheets in a minute.
Yeah, nice start for Allen. So we got an out turn hit here. This one looks pretty good. Could make the double. Really close. Whoa, just slides back, but gets the roll.
Great hit and roll.
So you can see from that the advantage of that corner guard that they threw up earlier. You know, it's so often that it happens that you don't end up using those guards, but in this case, she's just 5-6 inches from being perfect, and that's not a bad spot at all.
Very nice shot.
So kind of an either-or shot here. You'd like to get the one in the house, but if it ever overcurled and you pick that corner guard off, that wouldn't be the end of the world either. Oop, didn't like the sound of that.
Well,
looks pretty good, though.
It looked like a good throw.
I think this is going to be fine. That's a great shot.
We did watch some of the directional sweeping yesterday with the men. I'm not sure if the women are doing that this week or not.
Yeah, I was wondering that myself, just watching that. I was thinking the same thing. I wondered if anybody was actually utilizing that here. It's, you know what, it's an interesting concept, and it's one that definitely works, and I don't know that I like it, but it's here, and they have to use it. So if they can use it at all, it's worth doing.
We were noting yesterday that you are permitted to use hair brooms in this event.
Yeah, and I think that's just because it doesn't lead to a sanctioned world event. So that's the reason why I would suspect that you can. I didn't know that you couldn't, or you could rather, but so roll out here.
That'll be next, World Masters.
Yeah. That was probably a little heavy on that shot, really, to make this. Karen going out again to play past Diane to remove the corner guard. Now, at this point, I don't actually mind this call. I think it's late enough in the end that you may well want to run this one out.
Yes.
So Diane's got it on the way. Sweeper's indicating it's up, so it's lots of weight. Oh boy, it curls hard on that turn.
Really curling.
You've got a nose hit again, probably.
Good sweeping. Yes.
Yeah, great sweeping. I just don't know if you can take enough ice here to hold that for that shot.
We just an update on sheet 2. The women Ontario got single in the first end, so it's 1-0 over Alberta right at the moment.
Yeah, Ontario with 3-1. I don't know what Alberta is at this point, but normally you'd expect Alberta to have a pretty good team, so I'm guessing that they're still in the playoff hunt, championship playoff hunt. So it looks like Manitoba's going to try to take advantage of this corner guard here. Calling an out-turn draw.
Alberta women currently at 2-2.
2-2. So definitely alive. They need to probably win this one to make the championship side. But good looking shot here. If he gets by, great.
Coming around, great. Losing the handle a
matter
little
if it
bit.
Stops.
Needs to finish. That really did glide through the house to the back.
Yeah, ideally you'd want to be shot rock there, but it's in play and you might be able to make it count. So not a bad effort. So BC third, Diane Foster will just be asked to follow that one down. Try to be number 1, and probably above the tee line would be best. This looks a little hot. Actually looks a lot hot, so I think it's going to be hard-pressed to get over to the blue stone.
Right, it's got a long way to go to get over to the side. It may
Once
be
again, we see the advantage of that corner guard.
Right.
Yeah, just a little heavy.
Just a little heavy.
Yeah, first draw of the game probably, and that's always a little bit of a challenge. So Manitoba going around again. It's a great call. I really like this call. Some people would be tempted to hit the back red or maybe freeze of the back red, set up a 2, but this gives you an opportunity to bring 3 into play, and that's not a bad thing. If you make a good shot here, you should be able to get 2, and always nice to have that chance at the 3. Girls working hard here. This is going to have to go a little bit on this one. Might have to go a lot.
Trying. Get it around. The
line's okay. It's just a matter of the weight.
It's a little light.
Yeah, bad break there. That's not a helpful one for sure, but
we'll see what BC decides to do. What would you do?
Oh, you got to come right around it, no question. Got a situation to maybe force them here. And
I think the ice conditions look good, Jim. We've had some crispy, cool weather the last few days. Supposed to warm up, I think, starting tomorrow with the rain, and maybe temperatures are going to be up a little higher. So, of course, that always brings frost into mind for the ice makers. But so far, the weather's been perfect for curling.
Yeah, it's been interesting. It's been probably a little bit unseasonably cold, I would think, for this neck of the woods, for the valley at this time of year. It seems to me like it would be warmer. I don't live in this part, but we're mid-April, almost mid-April, or early April, I guess, and usually golf courses are open. And I was down in the South Shore yesterday and saw golf courses with 4 inches of snow and on top of them, and that's just pretty rare for this time of year. But
yeah, it's been hat and scarf weather the last couple of days for sure.
Yeah, the wind's been pretty bitter too, so it's just been a little bit of a challenge getting around. But you're right, I did see we're supposed to warm up to 13 or 14 degrees the next couple of days, so that's nice from a temperature point of view at least. So the out-turn draw coming around by Karen Lepine. Nice slide, a little tight though. We're going to have to work really hard on this one for line.
Seems the teams are having a little trouble with that particular curl to come around, but they're really working hard.
This is close.
So So I got
just
around
rubs the guard.
50, a little over 15 seconds from hog to hog, which does indicate that that's a bit light. So you'd
Yeah.
probably want around a 14 or so from hog to hog.
Yeah, 14, long time, that'd be around 24 seconds. That's pretty good speed. Curling club ice, that's certainly a number that's more than playable and offers the opportunity to play the game however you like to play the game. That was really close. She was just a hair tight on that, but I think if she had just a few more feet of weight, she might have snuck it by there. And if she had, it would have been big trouble for Manitoba. As it is, Manitoba now has a chance to come around and set up a deuce of their own. Big shot here. It's early, but it's a big shot with an opportunity.
Shot. I'm wondering about the ice that she's taking for this. Doesn't look like a whole lot from here, but we'll see. She's mid 8 foot with her broom.
Yeah, she's looking to try to have about 4 feet of curl. I don't know that we've been out quite this far so far.
Or no, I don't think we have. So it'll be a new spot.
On its way. She's certainly not wide, so they got to be a little careful there. Should be okay for line. She does have backing if she has to use it. I don't know that she'll want to go back there. They're going to have to go a little bit if they want to bury here.
Looks like great weight.
Yeah, it's a great shot.
Just started to change the handle at the end there, Jim.
Yeah.
That was a great shot.
Yeah, heck of a shot, and that's one of those that if you were prone to using directional sweeping, that it might have helped you out a little bit there. But
yes,
but that's a good spot. I mean, it's almost fully buried.
I think it was a case that just started to lose the rotation a bit on the handle and just started to go the other direction. So, but otherwise, a great shot.
She'll probably see enough. If she really wanted to go after this, she could probably go after it. But she is also looking at the situation where, she doesn't want to drop a 3-hander. And if you ever go after it, tick the guard, then you have a good chance of giving up 3. So
yes,
the draw's a little safer here. If you can set it right on top of the blue, you make that scoring area really small for Manitoba to get even there too.
That's a very good point. And the team would have discussed this over the year, how to approach this kind of shot, whether it's low risk or medium or high risk.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to update on sheet 4 with the men, Alberta men versus PEI. PEI are up 1-0, shooting the Blue Stones.
So this one looks okay. It's a little bit warm from up here, but I've always found that sitting up here in the second deck is always I always think everything's heavy.
A lot easier.
Yeah.
Wow. Just a little heavy, so.
Yeah, pretty good shot. Just a little, like you say, a little bit heavy. So Skip Malanchuk for Manitoba now has the identical shot she just threw.
Just going to go out a little bit more on that path, Jim. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one you don't want to edge yourself out too far. You want to travel on basically the same path you just did, and you should be fine as long as you throw anything from back 8 foot tee line. You're going to be good.
Have you seen any of the sweepers doing split times today or during the week? Or
no, I haven't noticed. It's my first game, but I actually don't see. It's interesting you mentioned it though. I don't see a lot of watches going out here compared to sometimes, particularly in ladies curling, and you see a lot of watches all the time on everything. But
split times are a guide. Sometimes they can be distracting.
oh, absolutely, yeah.
How does this one look to you, Jim?
I think it looks solid. It looks good. I don't think there's any issue. I don't know if they could probably come off it a little bit. They want to make sure they don't hang it out there and slide by the red one, but
she can coax it. They can coax it along. It looks like she's may
okay.
lose the handle again there a little bit.
I think she's going to have to watch that. You'll get away with it a little bit here in the.
Great shot.
Yeah.
Right to the pin.
Yeah, terrific shot. Perfect draw away. 2 perfect draws by Skip Malanchuk of Manitoba, and we now have a 2-2 tie.
2-2 tie. So the rotation on that handle is going to have to watch that one, Jim.
Yeah, I'd be concerned. Certainly, if I was a coach on this team, we would be working hard to make sure that we get more handle than that. And I'm sure she's aware, and her team would probably be making her aware, or should certainly be making her aware that the handle on those are just not hanging on at the end. That's something to be aware of for sure. So 2-2 after 2 here at the Kings County Canadian Seniors. Or Canadian Masters. Sorry, I'm a week behind.
You've had a lot.
Everybody's in too good a shape out here. They look younger than 60.
They do. I asked a couple people for ID yesterday.
Yeah. Can't blame you for that.
My old teammate Jill Lindquist, lead for Nova Scotia women, she had a birthday a couple days ago, and I asked her if she had to show her ID to the officials.
Yeah.
There's no way she was 60.
So we got a guard going up by Manitoba. Actually, Karen Lepine going to get a little aggressive here, so it should be fun now. She's calling for the corner guard. BC leads Donna Christian.
We do want to mention that Bell Alliant is proud to be a sponsor, official broadcaster for the 2016 Canadian Masters Curling Championship from Kentville and Wolfville in Kings County, Nova Scotia. And Bell Alliant, there is more to love with the fiber op.
For sure. Bell Alliant's done a lot of events this year, certainly in curling and many other sports. It's really it's remarkable how many hours of programming that they have on now.
Yeah, it's really interesting to take a peek. There's all kinds of different hockey and basketball and different sports.
Yeah, some's on live streaming as we are here, and others on the Bell Alliant TV1 channel. And if you're a Bell Alliant customer,
yes, you can visit bellalliant.ca/TV1 for the webcast and TV schedule as well as on-demand content. And you can also get information on live events available only to Bell Alliant Fiber Op customers in Atlantic Canada on Channel 1 and Channel 401.
As Ruth Wiebe makes the takeout, just a little thin, rolls out. Karen Lepine now will play. You know what? This is a call I never really loved. I see people call it, and I don't know. If I'm a sweeper, I don't even know exactly where she wants this to go.
I was just
it's in behind and then a little bit at the top of the 12-foot sort of open, and I think she's going to want to come right around and actually go to the top of the 4, but you kind of got to do one or the other, I think. I think it's hard to play an either-or shot sometimes.
Yeah, as a thrower, I always was a little hesitant on these because you're going out so far.
Yeah. But it looks good.
It does look great. Bending in there. Just leaves it just short of the house.
So I don't know that helps BC more than it helps Manitoba, or if it helps Manitoba more than BC. So, just a few more feet of weight, though, and that would have been a beauty. So Manitoba going to play the intern, come around. Try to get this around and keep it above the tee line. Or Tucker.
Yeah.
Has room. Should get some finish here, though.
Yeah, we're seeing some finish on the rocks. That second.
Should be good.
Nancy Scammell's rock. That was great weight, right to the pin.
Yeah, heck of a shot. So Karen asking now for just a little tap back, kind of a back 8, back 12-foot weight. Bump it back a little bit. Probably like to get as close to the nose as she can.
Right. Sometimes you get the bonus little inside roll.
Yeah. Yeah. That might happen if your weight's perfect. Susan Beuk, second stone for BC. And the intern, this looks pretty good. Sweeper's holding it, trying to hold it.
Oh, that one's really curling.
I think she's going to get by. It's close.
Yeah.
Ooh,
great shot.
You might see that inside roll you were talking about.
Very good shot.
Yeah, terrific shot. That a really good shot. I mean, that was not easy to get that out and have enough weight to remove it, and yet have the right weight to be able to make the roll as well.
Right. That path seemed to curl a bit more than the previous shot.
Yeah, curling's interesting. Everybody has a little different release. They release a little earlier, a little later, a little more handle, a little less handle. So not everybody gets the exact same amount of curl, and when you're playing with a team, you need to figure that out. Looks like those guys had it figured out pretty good on that one.
I've been doing the poll of right-handed curlers, Jim. What's your favorite turn?
Yeah, mine's the intern.
Oh, well, you're a rare one.
Is that right? Wow. I always preferred the intern. I can make the intern curl a lot better than the outturn sometimes, so
Yeah.
I kind of like that intern. So good shot there, but it does open up a possibility for a BC little hit and flop behind the guard, and if they make this one, they're going to have Manitoba in some trouble here.
Yes, it's open. The finesse type shot. Susan Beuk, the second stone from BC. She's from New Westminster. She's at the Canadian Masters last year.
Oh, this is a great shot here.
Dandy
Wow.
shot. That's a 5 out of 4.
That was a great team shot. Sweepers worked really hard on that to keep it out there and just let it curl up on its own at the end. And Susan had perfect weight. Just a great team shot, that one.
Manitoba getting into a little bit of trouble here.
You know, it's tough here if you're Manitoba because you know you don't have a hammer, so peeling the guards doesn't seem like a great option, but I might be thinking a little bit about removing something here. It's getting a little nasty.
Yes, Jim, I like the peeling call right now. Could be ugly.
Going right around it. So I think this is sort of one that you're throwing in there. You sort of lob it in and hope it's number 2 when you're done. Coming around that one at the top of the 4-foot would be great, but wow, that's tough. Intern on its way. Certainly get out to the broom, so that's good.
Let's see what Nancy does here. Sorry, Karen, Sheldon, third.
So it looks really good if the weight's good.
Wow, that was amazing weight.
Wow, that is a great curling shot, that.
Very good
Yeah.
against the 2
So
red.
now I understand why they played that. And they didn't play all those other things that I would have played. 'Cause they're just better than me. So it's that was a heck of a curling shot. Holy cow, that was
What do we
great.
know?
Yep. The ladies have been here long enough now. They obviously got a handle on the ice and the draw weight, and just seeing some terrific shots. So Diane Foster now try to follow that down.
Yes.
Diane might have got this one started a little bit, actually.
Looks a little light, but you never know. I think they might coax it. Sweeper's working
No,
hard,
she's good for line.
trying to get by their top red one.
This might be
Diane
great.
looks like a pistol shot.
Holy cow.
Good shot.
It's an
Very
easy
good.
game, this curling, I'll
really?
tell you that.
That was
That's a great shot, too.
super.
Yep, she didn't actually. I thought she might have started a little bit, but I haven't seen them throw a whole lot. Sometimes you got to see them throw a little more to get a sense how they threw. Great shot by Diane.
Yes.
How many are sitting there now?
3.
3 red.
3
Holy
red.
cow.
We're 1, 2. BC are 1, 2, 3, and Manitoba are number 4.
Certainly set up so Manitoba can get out of this end by making a perfect shot here. You know, if she freezes to that one that Diane just threw, sitting on the button, there's not really going to be anywhere for it to go.
Right. It is.
But you got to make a great shot.
That shot rock is behind the button.
This looks pretty good. It's not heavy.
She's curling in there. Looks like a beauty.
Wow.
Wow. Perfect.
This is an impressive display by these two teams here in the third end of the Canadian Masters. I'll tell you, that was 3 of the best curling shots you can see thrown right there.
Yes. Perfect speed.
Good news for Manitoba is it's getting really tough now for BC to remove the blue, completely remove the blue, but they at very least should be sitting only, or have BC only sitting 1, maybe 2 at the end of this, where it was looking for a little while like they could be leaving them a dozen. So, go ahead.
I'm impressed with how the skips are picking up on the ice reading, and the sweepers are following the sweeping, in this game.
Good effort there by Diane Foster, just with that little bit extra weight, it just hung out and ends up hitting her own at the back. You can see by roll, too, like she didn't miss by very much. So
No, we've got the 4 foot surrounded by red, but 1 blue one right in the middle.
yeah. Well, sometimes it seems a little unfair when you can have that house full of your rocks, but the other team's sitting 1, but that's what's fun about the game. So Manitoba now will actually look to come right down on that, I believe, and sit right on the blue one. And that would be a very good spot. Guard's not a bad option. The only problem with the guard is there is there is a run back option on the right-hand side of the sheet as we look at it on the monitor that they could play red on red. There's not,
Yes.
as long as they get it going roughly in the right direction, it should be makeable.
It is lined up for
Yeah,
run
it's a
back.
great view there. Thanks, Scott, for that. That's doing our production work, directing, and all that kind of stuff. He's doing an awesome job. Worked with him last week at Digby and at the seniors, and it's awesome there too. The guys work hard.
Scott rocks.
So the intern being delivered now. Good throw, nice release, nice slide by Skip Malanchuk. We'll see where we go.
This is Pat's 4th appearance at the Masters Curling Championships. How's this one look to you, Jim?
I think it looks great. It's going to be a little light, not going to be in there, but I think she's going to have a great guard.
Right.
That was a hard one to throw much more. You had to be a little bit careful when it ended up. Although it's, if you do run in and bounce around a little bit, at least get you another rock in there. Karen makes this shot, then all of a sudden your guard is in the way. So it's, it's just is what it is, and you got to hope that they don't make this one. It's a hard shot, no question.
Not sure what BC are looking at here. I'm surprised they're not trying to run back.
Well, I think they are.
Are they?
Yeah, I think they are, Edie. When you see where they put the broom and all that kind of stuff, I think you're going to see, even though they're not out by the rock.
Right.
I think that's the shot they're playing.
Yeah, sometimes.
Maybe, go ahead.
Sometimes third likes to stay in the house so they can read the line better.
Yeah. And she's not going to play it, by the look of the broom and everything, she's not going to play a big, high, hard one type run back that you'll see of the Kevin Cooeys of the world and the Colleen Joneses of the world and all those sorts of people. This is more probably a board control kind of weight hit, maybe even a little less than that, although probably going to curl that much, I think.
Both teams are quite finesse in their approach to the game here today.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with both teams. I think both teams, they played great first ends and gave up the 2-on-1 miss, and then great end here, good end last end, so some great curling.
This seems to be shaping up.
This is close. It's just a matter of how much it curls at the end. It's got to curl a little bit more, I think.
Coming in.
Great effort. Nice try.
Very good try. The weight seemed to be pretty good.
Yeah, weight was enough. I think if I was going to throw that shot, I might go, because I have so many of my own rocks in there, and it's always easier with a little more weight to call the line. I might have went with a little firmer weight just to hold it a little bit straighter, and not really much danger. There's nothing really in there that you can take out that would hurt you. So
maybe something like board weight or...
Yeah, something just a little more solid than that, just so I could control the line a little bit better. But a nice try.
Yes.
They only missed it by probably on the rock that she actually raised, probably maybe 3/4 of an inch or an inch, and she would have made it perfect and sat 4. So Manitoba now look to try to get it. I think they've got to try to get another rock in there. It's a little harder now for BC to get at that blue stone, but it's not impossible. I think if I was Manitoba, I'd be trying to get a second rock in here.
Yes, for sure. That would be the goal.
Yeah.
Try to get the 2. Just an update from sheet 1. Nova Scotia stole one in the second end, so they're up 4-0 over Yukon.
It's good. Alan Marshall looking for his first win of the event. I haven't been around. I don't know what their games have been like, but I recognize a lot of those guys, and they're certainly good players, so I'm guessing they've had some good games.
Yeah, they're all very good players.
So Manitoba skip Malanchuk now. Pat Malanchuk delivering her last stone of this end. Playing the intern freeze really is what this shot is.
Looks like she's got enough weight to get in there, Jim.
Yeah, this looks good. Wow, that's a great shot.
That is a fantastic shot.
Yeah, that really is. So blue sitting 2, and really difficult now for BC to remove that. Either one of those, actually.
Too bad we weren't keeping stats on this game, Jim. They'd be high.
Yeah.
I'm sitting next to my right. There's a bit of a celebrity. Albert the Chicken from Alberta is on the watching Game 4 between Alberta and Prince Edward Island. I hear he's quite a celebrity.
Oh, is that right? Huh.
Well, there's some debate over how to approach this by the BC team on what they're going to try to do to salvage a shot here.
Yeah, it's a tough call here. They just, Manitoba made a couple of just great shots, and Karen Lepine misses one by half an inch, and all of a sudden you're looking at two with not an easy way in. So I'm not quite sure. Diane looking a little bit at the run back on the red as an option.
Right.
I always like to see teams talk about that before you get down to the other end and then try to figure it out. But they may just not have thought of it. They've thought of it now, so they're going to have a rethink, if you will. Go ahead.
Jim, I understand there's 30 minutes thinking time as opposed to 32 last year in this event.
Well, that's not very much. I didn't even realize that. So,
yeah,
30's not a lot, so you've got to move it along for sure.
I think our teams are pretty even with their time clocks right now.
They are.
Not an issue.
No, not yet. So I think now they've changed this call. They were actually going to throw, I think they were going to throw the run back on the blue at the front. Now they're going to play the slash, angle slash, whatever term you like to use, where they drive that red one from the top right in towards the pocket. There is a possibility of a multiple score if you make this one. I think much harder than the other shot, but at the same time the reward might be better, and neither shot was easy. So
no, it's got a difficult one either way.
Yeah. Karen Lepine has it on the way, and she's in the ballpark with this. It's really close.
Being called off by Foster.
Wow. She did give up one, but that's a heck of a curling shot.
That's a very good shot.
And obviously a wise choice to rethink that call, because that was just a great shot. Well called, and Karen Lepine saves her team an extra point here and does give up a steal and one. Manitoba taking a 3-2 lead after 3 ends of play here at the Canadian Masters, but a great shot.
Fantastic.
That was a great end. A lot of good shots.
That was a very good end, very entertaining.
And a real good game going. 3-2. Expect to see lots more great shots. These are two very, very good curling teams, and as we mentioned, both 3-1, both looking to make it to the championship round.
We see a tie over on sheet 2 with Team Ontario and Team Alberta on the ladies' side, and lots of action going on over there.
It is. The Alberta cheerleading squad here has been kept really busy, going from sheet 4 to sheet 2 and back. And
yes, and
there they are. There's
there they are, the pom-poms,
yeah.
blue and yellow pom-poms.
We're going to have to get ourselves a GoPro or something to show them off here. So Malanchuk throws the first one in the rings. I don't know if that was a call, but it's a good shot anyway with the 3-2 lead playing the fourth. Karen Lepine says it's a little bit too good to leave it, so she's going to hit it.
Yes, I was interested to see what she'd make for a call here. She looks like she's going after it.
Yeah, sometimes I think it just depends on how good that rock is and how good a team's feeling about leaving a rock that's that close to the button. Girls are going to have to work hard on this one. I think they've straightened it up pretty good. Diane's not all about skipping. She's got the broom working pretty good here. Held that one straight. Good for her.
I'm assuming
Susan
these
Beuk.
are these the provincial rocks, Jim? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, actually.
We do have a provincial set of rocks that are taken to provincial championships events, so I'm not sure if these are.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're probably here somewhere, but they may not be either. It's, I should know the answer to that in my position with the NSCA, but I don't. So
maybe where it was 2 rinks, they've opted to go with the local rocks.
Yeah, it's possible.
Lots of cheering going on in the background here. I think it was a shot by Alberta ladies to our left. We have a rowdy bunch here.
Alberta's the only province that chartered their own plane to come here with this event, with the crowd and the spouses and fans and everything. It just took a whole plane to get them here.
We're surrounded by Albertans to the right and left.
So the intern hit coming here for Team BC. No problem with this one. These teams don't really have much trouble with the hard shots, never mind the easy shots, so
right.
They're not going to miss too many of these.
They're both teams that were BC and Manitoba are in the groove.
Yeah, they are. They're playing well. It really is. It's been a good curling game. As I mentioned, my first game here for this weekend. I'm here most of the rest of the week, and it's nice to have a great game to start off with.
It sure is.
This one's got to curl a little bit.
That's thrown a fairly significant weight at that one.
Glad it hit it. I would have felt a little bit like a jinx had it not. So did that last week in the game. Talked about how great everybody was playing, and the next shot they missed. So
Murphy's Law never fails.
Exactly. So with nothing in the house now, that does change it a little bit. And Karen Lepine will ask for a corner guard now. Just a little intern corner guard somewhere up around the Bell Line logo, a little bit outside of that. It's really nice looking at the logos in the ice, too. It's nice to see the cooperative effort here between the towns of Kentville and Wolfville and the Wolfville Curling Club and the Glooscap Curling Club. Glooscap being the curling club in Kentville. It's really, you don't see that a lot, so it's really nice to see.
Yeah, it's been a very cooperative venture, I think, for both clubs. And co-chairs Kathy Siddle and Tony Sterling have done an amazing job. I know it's been a lot of hard work up to this point. It seems to be paying off.
Oh, I think so, yeah. We just were talking with the cheerleading group from Alberta here, and they were commenting on how well it's been run and how great it is. And well, they just have to, they're told to just get on a bus tonight. Somebody will take them where they have to go. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's the way to travel.
Yeah.
And attention to fine details for the event, so everybody's happy.
Sometimes when you host these events in the smaller communities too, it's the whole community gets on board with it, whereas sometimes they get a little lost maybe in a big city, so it's always nice.
Yeah,
great shot.
Yeah, very good shot.
So a couple good shots. This is an interesting call. This is, Karen threw the corner guard. It came into the house, and Manitoba opted to remove it. So now we're calling the freeze.
Nancy Scammell, second from the Manitoba team, having a great game. She's been making everything. She was
Absolutely.
at Masters in 2014 and 15, so this is her third appearance.
So the intern draw coming here does look a little bit warm, although it is really curling. So it's going to have to get over there. Diane Foster trying to help it over a little bit. Didn't quite get it all figured out in time. So slides by, pretty good effort, but just a little heavy and slides by. That's a tough call, That's a tough shot to throw over there and make a perfect freeze. Usually ends up having you tap it out anyway, so sometimes it's not a bad thing just to go ahead and hit it, but I do like the effort of trying to mount a little bit of offense here in the even end, fourth end, and down one. It's nothing, not a lot of trouble here, so it's good to see. So just a draw to the house here for Manitoba. Get a second rock in. They really like to force BC to take one here. They'd obviously love to steal one, but they're not really set up for that right now, although this one's going to be a little short.
Maybe, are we going to get a biter? Not quite.
So an interesting shot now, an interesting shot selection. Could do a few things here, I think, Edie. It could come around it on either turn, probably. Oh, got an official's timeout here.
Official timeout.
They've got something going on with the ice. There must be a little something that they can't scrape off on their own. A little harder than a fingernail. So anyway, back to what we were saying, though. You could play the come around on the in-turn or the out-turn. That's one option. You could play the freeze, same shot you just played.
Right.
Or you can go ahead and peel that one off and maybe try to roll to a corner or maybe even roll into the circles.
Right. Well, just personal preference for me. I like the come around, but try to get 2 points if I could. But what do you like?
Well, it's interesting. I'm not sure I love this one. So I think given the Diane's shots of last end, I think I might play the come around as well. Probably play it on the out turn, so if I only half bury and they do hit it, they roll over towards theirs, and I might get out at the end.
Right, good point.
Let's see what happens here. The girls are off of this one. Diane's got a lot of weight on this one coming down. It should work out okay.
May even roll over to the... No, it's going to hit and roll out. So
yeah, that's one of those that I often say when I'm working with the competitive kids and the juniors and stuff. It's sometimes you get a little more out of a shot. You got to make the shot, but you can get that little extra out of the shot. And that's one I just sort of feel maybe a little bit like they could have got that extra, just a little bit thinner, and they make the double.
Right.
Which would be awesome. And, don't miss it, but make sure that you're always aware. I know they're thinking of removing it first, but if you're not going to remove it and roll to the corner, then what the heck? Sweep it a few whacks and
Sure.
maybe pick the one off in the circles.
Might get the back one, sure.
Exactly, yeah. But it was tough. It was pretty thin to do that. You would never try that unless it was a mistake. So we got the in-turn draw coming in. The girls who beat Manitoba will want this in, although it's just going to end up in the same spot. They certainly are zoned in on that weight.
They sure are. They have been all game.
Ends up just above the Bell Alliant logo. Worked out good last week. The Bell Alliant logo was just up there far enough that's where you always wanted to throw your guards and corner guards. So
right. So it was a
kind
good
of aimed
marker.
for that.
Yeah, it was a good marker.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah. Good for us. This one looks okay. This is really close to the double, as long as they don't miss it.
Oh, just rubbing the front one.
Yeah.
Upped her weight a little bit, I think, Jim.
Yeah, maybe so. That's too bad. That was really close to being really good. They swept it a little bit. I don't know how much damage they did to it. It was coming pretty hard, so it's pretty hard to get a lot going on there. But
I don't think the sweeping on that one would have really mattered with the weight.
Yeah. So Manitoba now will play the come around. Still, a little bit of trouble for BC here. You don't want to drop a steal, and that's a pretty good rock for coming around for Manitoba, but shouldn't pose a big problem. And BC certainly will have the 4-foot to draw to, even if they make this perfect.
Sure.
And you still have one shot. You got to run back or appeal on the first one.
Just an update from sheet 4. We have Alberta got one in the third end, stole one, so the score is 4-1 for Alberta over Prince Edward Island. Our sheet, of course, is 3-2 for Manitoba. We're in the fourth end. Ontario and Alberta are tied at 2-2. Our home team boys, host team, stole another one, so they're up 5-0 over Yukon. So we're having a draw here by the Manitoba team, see if they can get around behind their front one and possibly steal another one.
It's a pretty good weight, just didn't curl quite enough. A little bit, again, Pat does have that little bit of a lazy handle. Sometimes that will swoop in, sometimes it just won't make that final curl.
Yes.
So an opportunity now for BC. Actually, they can make that little inside roll and maybe still produce a 2 in this end.
They may be able to do that, yes.
Remind everybody as well, we are streaming 2 games every draw. I know this is a split draw, but we're doing one sheet here from Wolfville and one sheet from Kentville. So if you're looking for another game, I don't know why you'd leave this game today, but you might have family or friends or somebody you're really cheering for that's playing in the other draw. I don't know which game it is right now, but there is another game on after 3 o'clock if we're at 3 o'clock yet.
Yeah, it's 5-3, 2:55 right now. So if it's sheet 3, it'll be Manitoba and Saskatchewan men play.
Okay. Saskatchewan and Manitoba men's, if they're doing sheet 3 over there. But
yes, if they're doing the sheet 3.
But anyway, you can check it out, and if you like that game, great. And if you'll come back to this one, that's even better.
This one's been very good so far.
It's been a great curling game, really has. There's been a couple of misses, but there's been a lot of good shots in this one, including that last one by Karen Lepine. That was, would have liked to have got the roll, but hitting stuck makes Manitoba make a shot here. A little rollout or anything like that, and she might get an opportunity to blank this in.
Mm-hmm.
And now if it hits the stage, you have the full 8-foot to draw to.
Right. So the second sheet are on their fourth end break. We don't have an updated scoreboard yet between Ontario and Alberta women. They are on fourth end break, well deserved.
So this one looks fine. Manitoba just cleaning it down the sheet. Might make the inside roll. Really close.
Very good shot.
She does.
Nice weight.
Stayed in a very good place for Manitoba. Karen Lepine going to play the takeout, so I assume that there's enough room there for her to hit it and be shot rock. I don't think you'd play this if you had to roll. Diane Foster having a look just to make sure.
Right.
Diane indicating maybe you might need to roll a little tiny bit. And that's fine. The draw here is tough if you have to go way out there. And it's a matter of personal preference, really. some skips would draw here for sure. There would be no question. Other skips will play the takeout. Obviously, Karen likes a takeout, so she's going to play that one.
Yeah, it's an either-or call. You know, the draw can be tough when you're looking at 2 more.
Yeah, it's you're supposed to be able to blank all that stuff out, but sometimes it's hard. So it's on its way, but looked tight to me out of her hand. Looked real tight.
Sweepers seem to be keeping it out there a bit.
Yeah, they're going to have to go super hard on
Really
this.
hard on
This is
this
going to be really close to that guard.
Maybe she'll roll.
Maybe hit it thin enough to get number 2.
She's going to roll
Rolls
over
over to
and
the-
hit number 2.
So good news, bad news for Team BC. They did hold Manitoba to 1, but they much rather would have scored. But for a little while, it looked like they might give up a deuce.
Right.
So Manitoba steals 1 here in the 4th end to take a 4-2 lead after 4 ends of play, and we'll be on a 5-minute break and be back to you soon. And we're back here at the 2016 Canadian Masters Championship. Jim Nix with Edie Lloyd, bringing you a round-robin game between BC and Manitoba. Ladies' game and a very good curling game so far.
Been a great game, Jim. Very entertaining. I just want to mention that Bella Lyon is proud to be the official broadcaster for the 2016 Canadian Masters Curling Championship from Kentville and Wolfville in Kings County, Nova Scotia. And with Bella Lyon, there's more to love.
There is. We just had Bella Lyon put in her house probably about 4 weeks ago, and it's totally awesome.
We're Bell customers as well out in Grand Prairie, and we have all good things to say about them.
Good stuff. So we've got a guard out front for Manitoba, and now BC calling a corner guard. BC down a couple. No need to panic. They're playing well. It's not like you're down and you're just struggling along here. They're actually playing quite well. A couple of half misses and half shots, and that's the only difference. It really hasn't been much between these two teams.
No, and Manitoba made some pistol shots in that third end, so with BC as well making a great one in the third end to cut them down to one.
Yeah, Manitoba was actually in trouble in that end, and a couple of great shots took them out of it, so you never know. Corner guard, good throw. Good throw by BC lead, Donna Christian. So it looks like we're going to have lots of rocks in play again. That's always good for the viewers. Good for us as announcers. Keeps us awake. That can never be a bad thing.
Looks like the conditions are good, Jim, too. I don't see a lot of people looking very overly cold or the other way, overly hot. So looks like the temperature's very conducive to a good game.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And, it looks like we've got probably around 4 feet of curl, 4.5 feet at times, and mostly at the end. It's, kind of curl that happens at the end, but that's good. That works as well. You can see the intern draw here. So they're playing the come around. You can tell by where the corner card is. That's about where we're looking for curls, about 4 feet.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, we're looking for Donna Christian. She's the lead for BC team. Was at the 2015 Canadian Masters curling event, and she's from Langley Cloverdale Curling Club as well.
Going to be hard pressed to get this one by, I think. Well, maybe not.
They're sweeping hard.
It's coming in. Looks like it's going to rub the guard a little bit. Just a little bit light. Just add another 6-8 feet to that, and I think she's fine. So all kinds of rocks in play. It's going to be an interesting end.
Yes, the first part of this end is shaping up a bit different. There's more rocks out front to play with, and see what Manitoba wants to do here. What's that called, Jim?
Call an intern tap on the blue one on the outside. And, I think there's easier ways to get to the 4 foot than that, but that's the choice they made. And,
right.
It could play just a straight come around. A little hard to tell by the call, but I'm pretty sure that's what she's played.
This is Nancy Scammell, second stone for Manitoba, who's had a really good game.
She's a good player.
Great.
Looks like we're going to end up with the come around anyway, and we might not even get that. It might even touch the guard. She's going to sneak it by. Oh, and she does.
She does sneak it by.
Well, not the exact call, but a great shot.
Lots of options on that call, Jim.
Yeah, unless we missed something. There's certainly, I watched Pat indicate a couple times that she wanted to tap that, but sure didn't look like it. It was a great shot.
Yeah, it could even have had a split there, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, and that might have been on her mind as well, maybe move the corner guard off. So now we got to peel that front one. If you're BC, you need to open it up a little bit. You want to make sure you keep yourself in the game here. You're only down a couple. You don't want to play yourself into another steal here.
This is second stone Susan Beuk from New Westminster Club, and she was
Sweepers might have held this too good. Slides by. Well, that's good. That's a good shot. Rolls a little bit towards the corner and opens up the front.
Susan was at the 2015 Canadian Masters as well.
Sounds like almost all the players out here today have got some experience certainly at the Masters level and maybe beyond that. That's good.
Yes, we were saying that the BC team skip Karen Lepine has been to the Mixed Curling Championships 3 times, seniors twice, and third time for Masters.
Wily veteran.
She is.
So now we've got a card call, and I'm pretty sure this one's going to overcurl. It's just, I don't think there's much chance that it's not going to curl a little too far. Judging by where they were for the last one and where they put the broom for that one's pretty much destined to overcurl. And it does, so good opportunity for BC here now. get a roll behind one of those two guards. Calling for a hack weight, she indicated by tapping the hack with her broom. Big shot, big opportunity for BC.
Yes, it is. We'll give a shout out to Manitoba lead Ruth Wiebe, who this is her 9th appearance in the Canadian Masters competition.
Holy cow. And when I do the math on that, I can come up with what number that means as far as her age. She's in pretty darn good shape, playing a great game after being in this event for 9 years in a row.
Well, we have the birth dates listed, but we were all sworn to secrecy on that one.
Well, that's right. This could be good. They might have lost it a little bit here. Hangs on and rolls behind the 22 guards on the right-hand side of the sheet, so she's pretty good shape.
Yeah.
That one's well buried. Good news. Bad news is there's a lot of stuff for Manitoba to work with out there as well. But at this point you have to take a few risks, and you can only work with what you have. You can't invent something. So that was a really good shot.
BC really needing a couple points in this game.
Yeah, 3 would be nice. 2 for sure. So we got this intern come around. A little reload in the hack. Mentioned sweepers and split times. You see the one sweeper on the Manitoba team with a watch and have a look at it now, and then start to sweep or think about it or don't. So it's split times, as you mentioned, are a great thing. I think some nice players get too locked in on them. I think they're a good guide when you first get it, and then you have to get it, and then you go by feel after that. And
yes.
Don't get so locked in on the split time that it affects what you do.
Can be very distracting.
Yeah. And that might even have been the case there, where they didn't really sweep that much, and if it goes another foot, it's shot rock. Instead, it's number 2, and not very helpful. So
right, it's part of the art and science of the game.
Yeah.
You have to combine the two.
So anyway, let's see what the call is here. I don't actually know. So
Maybe a
BC
draw.
Outturn come around, I guess, behind the blue corner guard on the left-hand side. Not a bad call.
Yeah, there's a lot of rocks out front to navigate around, but this is a good call. They do need 2 points.
It's a little heavy though. Catcher on the back, and will it hold it for them? Not quite.
Not quite. Diane had a little trouble with drawing in the last end as well, so maybe it's keening up a bit. We never know.
Yeah, that's too bad. That was a good one for them to make there. If they make that one, they're sitting 2 in pretty good shape. So Manitoba look to play this come around again. Sweepers ready.
See if we can get a time for this one.
Third stone, Karen Sheldon. I like the way she throws the stone. I actually like the way most of the players out here throw the stone. They're pretty much right on the target, and nice releases, and they look pretty good throwing the rock. So this one looks good. This could be a great shot. She sneaks it by, and she does.
Sneaks it by. Very good.
Wow, that's a great shot. That's the one that would have been nice for the BC team to make.
Manitoba certainly has had their draw weight in this game.
Man, they've been good, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
So now a little intern tap on the blue and roll behind the corner. Tough shot. I don't know that you have a whole lot of options but to play it, but it is a really difficult shot.
High degree of difficulty on this one.
Yeah.
If you make it, it's great.
So Diane Foster. Lets it go, look pretty darn close.
She got enough weight to do it?
I think they need to stop sweeping it. Has to curl a little more.
Curling up some.
Wow, that's
great
a great shot.
Very, very good touch on that shot, Jim.
Yeah, I know. We've seen so many good shots today, Edie. It's just really impressive, the curling out here this afternoon.
Give you a little update across the sheets on one. Host team, Malanchuk's team, are up 5-1 over Yukon. On sheet 2, Team Ontario women 3-2 over Alberta. And on sheet 4, Alberta men are up 6-1 over Prince Edward Island. And in our current game, it is 4-2 for Manitoba over BC. So some of the games are close and some are spread out a little bit more on the scoreboard.
We'll remind everybody, too, it's a good deal here if you're looking to come down and watch some curling. There's some great curling going on. I believe it's $5 a day for a day pass and $20 maybe for the whole rest of the event. Can't really beat that. There's 3 or 4 draws every day, and there's the finals and semifinals on Saturday and Sunday, and some great curling and at a very, very reasonable price.
Right, I scooped up the $20 pass right away at the beginning. Good deal.
Yeah, it is a good deal. I snuck in, so I even did a little better. But
you're getting paid double time today,
yeah. Take it out of my pay. That should leave me quite a bit left, though, so I'm good. So a little shot here. It's Pat Malanchuk. Not her best throw on this one. Going to get away with it a little bit, but
turn out okay for her.
Yeah, it actually did. She, it's one of them. Every now and then you don't get what you deserve out of a shot. Sometimes you get a little extra. I think she might have got a little extra on that one, but that's okay. It just ticks and rolls into the house. It's going to be tough now, though, for BC because what do you do here? Do you ignore that and just play the straight draw? Or do you do something with that rock? And I don't think there's enough room to do very much with that rock.
What what would you do?
I think you don't have a choice really but to play the come around, just play the straight draw, and she's going to play the run back on the blue one, but she'll probably give you 2 here if you put this one in a good position.
Yes, good turnout for her.
See there the overhead, great shot. That's what we needed to see actually, and it's a really close situation for the blue on the red, so you can't really prevent that. You could guard, I guess. I mean, the problem with guarding, I don't know how you get your second one in there. So
right, that's the problem. And at this point in the game, you want to try to get us 2 as much as possible.
Yeah, for sure. 5th end, Karen should have her draw weight by now. So an in-turn draw for Team BC.
It looks the sweepers are working at it. Now they've been called off, but I think the speed looks pretty good. It's a matter of maybe line right at the moment.
Yeah, the sweepers are caught in between a little bit. They know they need to sweep a little, but it's just not curling quite enough.
Just nudges the Manitoba rock. BC still sitting 1.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's certainly create a little bit of conversation for Manitoba. You could see some teams here hit that red one they just threw and try to make the doubles on the red, and hopefully you don't jam it on the right-hand side. But that would be a pretty aggressive call, and it would require quite a bit of weight. So
I really haven't seen too many of those called this game, so I wouldn't think that they would do that, but you never know.
No, I agree with you, actually. I don't think that's probably what they're going to do here. I think they're going to play some sort of little softer weight shot for sure.
Just want to mention that the gold medal games for both men and women are here at the Wolfville Curling Club on this Sunday, April the 10th at 2 p.m. And right after that will be the closing ceremonies and then a farewell reception. So tonight we did say the Cayley party is happening in New Minas, and then there will be a banquet Saturday night. So there's been lots of activity for the teams and support people with them to partake in.
Yeah, it's only Wednesday.
It's only
Wednesday. Middle of the day, so no more curling after this draw today, but we have action all day Thursday, Friday, and semis on Saturday, and finals on Sunday, and we'll be here covering all of them for Bell Alliant TV1. Looking forward to it. Taking Friday morning off to do a few errands, but other than that, I think I'm hanging around most of the weekend. You scheduled for any more, Edie? Or you?
No, I think this is it for me,
unless
needed. So it's been a great.
Become a fan.
I want to thank Tony for asking me to. At first, I was hesitant. I had not experienced that before, but it's been a blast. So it's good to see you and your family here in the crowd as well. Yeah,
thanks. It's it is a great experience. It's awesome that we get the opportunity to give a lot of people a chance to do these games. They're a lot of fun to do and not nearly as intimidating as one might think sometimes. So it's like everything. That first time it's a little bit nervous, but this is going to be a little light, I think. I'm not sure she's going to get this one over.
Maybe a hog rock, we'll see.
Yeah, the
Close.
sweepers. Wow, she got great sweepers. And they got it over for her, did they? They did, I'm sure. Not sure. No,
they didn't. No, that was just
a good
light
try.
right out of the gate.
Yeah. So I think she was just trying to guard against the deuce, and now Karen will just go down, play the same shot she just played, really just try to tap that red one up for her 2. I don't think she can do any more than that. There's not really much opportunity at creating a 3 here, so take your 2 and be happy, and really bear down on this one. Make sure you make this because this is a really important shot.
It's tricky.
Yeah, not taking a whole lot of ice, so it's you got to make sure you get out to it.
Just want to commentate a little bit on the men's world. They play Thomas Alsrud, broadcasted at 4 a.m. this tomorrow morning early, and the rebroadcast will be on at 11 a.m. on TSN 1.
Well, there you go. If you're late getting home from the K-League tonight, you can watch it tonight, or you can
just stay up.
Yeah, you just stay up. Yeah. Well, I know at the seniors last week, a few people stayed up that late, so it might work. So the girls working hard on holding this. This looks like a great shot. It needs to curl a couple more inches. Well, that's a great shot.
That's a fantastic shot.
Super shot by Karen Lepine, and all of a sudden we have a tie game once again. 4-4 after 5 ends.
Boy, Jim, they sure worked hard for those 2 points.
They did, yeah. You know what? They really did. But, I'm not surprised at all by the shot making anymore. So I expect these skips to make everything and make the most difficult shots. So 3 ends to go, and it should be fun. Here at the 2016 Canadian Masters on Bell Alliant TV1.
Heading into the 6th end, and of course this is where you want to score a couple if you're either team to maybe force 1 and 7 and have the hammer coming home.
Yeah, this is when you start to have to think a little bit about how you're going to approach these next few ends for sure. It's really hard to run out an end and blank an end, so and I think it's a little bit harder as, obviously the young kids and the Briars and Scotty level curlers they have the ability to throw the high hard one a little bit more than these curlers here, so, or maybe even quite a bit more, but regardless of that, it just becomes a little bit more of a challenge to set out an end to blank the end, because usually the other team doesn't want to let you do that either. That's the other part of it.
Yes, these are 2 very finesse-type teams.
Yeah.
So
So Manitoba with hammer in this end. Their goal really, obviously they like to score 2, but even scoring 1 here is big. It's important to score if you're Manitoba. If you're not able to blank it, make sure you score. You don't want to give up a steal here. Score 1, then you're in a position you can give up 1 or 2 the next end and be in good shape coming home with the hammer. So, as you say, it's you have to start working at it, start thinking about it.
Scoreboard starts to talk to you a little bit.
It sure does, yeah. Yeah. And a good shot there. So BC will play the same shot. Nobody's going to get real crazy aggressive here right now in this end. She might be able to hit this and be outside of the circles, and if she could, that would be good for BC.
Right, so you're saying if she hits that right on the nose, it may be off the red.
That's right. Wow. A little wide, though, so nose hit might not happen. It's going to have to curl pretty hard.
So, lots of weight, speed.
She's going to hit it. Yeah, she's got it.
Good piece.
So she makes it go away, and an empty house. Now we'll see how Manitoba really wants to play this end. Going to draw to the wings. So she's willing to try to score 2, but she doesn't want to get real crazy aggressive and throw up a corner guard. Not that that's super crazy aggressive, I guess, but a little surprised actually by this. I think that at this level, now she's indicating in front of the ring. So we don't hear the players talking, so maybe it's one of those that they hollered down even after she indicated drawing to the house that,
Could be.
Yeah, just short's pretty good.
That's right where she tapped her broom.
That is, and that's exactly where I would have wanted it, so good call.
Jim, I can't help but notice the fitness level of the Masters level. It's incredible to look around and see the shape that these individuals and teams are in.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely impressive.
Very good example set by these folks.
There, yeah. Yeah. So we got an out-turn peel attempt coming here for BC. I don't think you want to stay right there, but you wouldn't mind rolling to the center if you're BC.
Diane trying to coax it a little bit over.
Yeah.
Nose hit.
Yeah, that whole directional sweeping thing, it's interesting. You definitely have to get it right if you're going to do it. You got to be in the right position, the right angles, and all that kind of thing. But I don't think that was going to change anything on that one. So, nose hit. Advantage Manitoba a little bit.
We'll see if we can get a time. I've been trying, but I...
0.4, that's...
I often forget when it gets to the second hot line to hit the button, so...
Yeah. Well, you're doing it on the phone too, and I do that all the time, and it's just it's so sensitive that it's like shoot.
Well, this one looks like it's going to be above the tee line into the 8-foot.
Yeah, Manitoba continues to impress with the draw weight. Certainly not buried, but a good shot just the same.
So again, coming into this game today, both teams are at 3-1. So this is an important game for perhaps for seeding, the seeding pool, which I think would be tonight, the seeding, meaning that this is the last game of round robin for the women.
Oh, okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
We looked at that.
Well, you may well be right, actually. I didn't have a good look. Is this close? Oh, just barely doesn't get by. Well, that makes it even more important. Obviously, the winner of this would be, and I think, regardless, even if there was another game, I think the winner of this game's in really good shape to make it through to the championship round. And
certainly if they keep playing the way they have been.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's an interesting setup. The juniors do this, the mix does this, and the seniors did this last week, where you have two pools, and the top 4 teams go on to the championship round, and the other teams go into a seeding round. It's hopefully, the first tiebreaker on that is who beat who. If more teams are tied and they can't determine it, it goes to the last shot draw. So it really puts a lot of emphasis on the last shot draws for sure.
Right.
I'm not sure I like it, but they don't have much choice. They can't extend the event for another day or two to be able to give everybody tiebreaker games.
Right.
So
I'm not a big fan of the last shot business, but
well, I know it happened last week with some teams where they didn't make it through to the playoff round based on last shot draws, and that's always that's just hard to stomach if you're a player. But you know it coming in, so you better make sure you take advantage of it and make sure that your team is up for those draws. So the out turn hit coming down here for Diane Foster, Team BC. This one must be hooking. It must have maybe grabbed a little. They actually could have let it go a little longer. A little bit of panic, but it worked and it stayed, and it's in the neighborhood of the other blue one, so an opportunity for BC to maybe make a double here sometime in a shot or two and prevent the possible deuce for...
I don't want to jinx anything. I have not seen picks in the last 2 games that I've done, so it's been the ice must be very clean and well maintained, and not leaving debris on the ice. It's been great.
Yeah, it's always wonderful when you have that. Some events you play and it happens regularly, and it is frustrating for the players for sure. So good looking shot here from Manitoba. Going to stay. They would have preferred to roll a little bit to the right as we look at it on the monitor. Had to kind of figure that out. It's our left as we stand up here, but anyway, wherever it is, they'd like to have rolled a little further away from the other blue one. Let me put it that way.
I think BC would like to hit this and maybe roll towards the Manitoba stone there on the right-hand side. And
yeah, Diane can throw it pretty hard, and if you could hit 3/4 of this, maybe a little more, you actually might be able to shove the other blue one out.
Right.
At least get, as you say, get it going in that direction. This one curling a little bit.
Important thing is to save your shooter.
Yeah, you definitely have to stay, because otherwise they split the house and they're way too far away. You could keep sweeping that. That's a great shot.
Perfect shot. Exactly what she called.
Yeah, great shot. Diane's had a pretty good game here today. A couple of draw weight shots, maybe not perfect, but other than that, a real terrific game.
Yes.
As most of the players have in this game.
Yes, they have. Looks like we've got a final score of 7-1 for the host team Nova Scotia over Yukon on sheet 1. They're shaking hands.
Well, congratulations to Alan Marshall and his squad, and they pick up their first victory here at the Canadian Seniors. They'll be happy about that. You certainly don't like to get shut out when you come to an event like this, and they got into the event as the host team, but that's it's a very good curling team, so I wouldn't have been surprised to see them win even, a few more games yet. But
Right.
good start. They're on the board, and I think they probably have another game yet.
Yes, Alan's been around forever, and he's
he sure has.
You can't put him out until he's out.
No. So a good shot for Manitoba, but now an opportunity for BC to make the double and get out of this end. Not a crazy easy double. You got to be a little careful there. You probably need to hit about a third of a rock maybe, and hopefully that'll be enough to get the high one out, and then you'll take out the other one as well. So it's not real easy. Not as easy as it might look on the monitors here.
Can be a little sneaky. Can hit that a little high and roll out.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, you hit half a rock here and you just go over top of the other one.
She's got her broom sort of in the middle of the two blue ones.
Yeah.
Can't really see.
Sort of one of those you're aiming at the gap between the two, but you do need to hit enough of the top one to get rid of it. Sweepers on. Sweepers have done a lot of sweeping today.
They sure have. Good point.
And usually two sweepers, so it's even tougher. Well, it might be in between here on this. Yeah. Well, as we mentioned, it's that was a tough shot. You had to throw a lot of weight at that, I think, and hit it pretty thin if you were going after the double. And she might not have been. She might have been just trying to hit it and maybe roll a little bit and be shot rock. So Manitoba will split the house here. And if she makes a good draw here, she should have a real good shot at getting her two.
Manitoba keeps the pressure on.
They do. They do. They gave you back a deuce the last end, but looks like they're trying to take it back here in the sixth end.
Well, BC worked very hard to get their 2 points in the last end. Manitoba didn't let up.
Yeah, you're right. They did have to work for it. Nobody's been given anything in this game.
Not at all.
There hasn't been any other than the first end. When they had the one miss and had the opportunity for two. But other than that, anybody that scored has worked hard to make it happen. So the in-turn draw for Manitoba skip Pat Malanchuk. Girls working hard on this. This might be a little light. Light would not be good. They're going to have to really work this, Edie, to get it in there.
Yes, they are. It's going to die on them, I think, halfway.
Yeah, really, really big miss for Manitoba. It's, they're talking about the time, just seeing whether or not she threw it that light or what happened. And I think judging by usually if your sweepers are jumping on it right out of your hand, it's a pretty good sign that you actually did throw it that light.
Yes.
So good effort by the sweepers in trying to get it there, just a little bit light, and now BC with a chance to force Manitoba here into taking one.
Big opportunity
Yeah,
for
it changes
BC.
in a hurry.
One shot.
One shot, yep. So Karen Lepine now from BC. Just want to make sure she keeps this a little bit firm. You definitely don't want to underthrow this one, have it over curl on you. It's on its way. Going hard on this one right out of their hand.
That looks pretty good.
Yeah, I think she's going to be okay.
Line is good. Calling them off.
Yeah, great shot.
Great shot.
So BC does their job, and they're going to force Manitoba into taking one here. That's the plan. That was probably the plan starting out the end. And
Manitoba opting to try to hit this shot stone on the nose.
So we got a officials timeout again here while somebody, or signal officials timeout while they clean up the ice. I'm not really sure that should be an official timeout, but they gave it to her anyways. Just sort of looked like a little bit of house cleaning to me, but there must have been something that was really stuck on there.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple times right in that sort of area.
Yeah.
Both teams in
pretty good shape on time. They can't take a lot of time, but they both are going to be around the 9-minute mark at the end of this end, maybe a little bit more. And 9 minutes to play two ends should be plenty.
Skip Malanchuk trying to hit this, I would say, Jim Preddy right on the nose, or she has room to roll there a little bit.
Yeah, she's got a little room either way, and just don't overthrow this. And sweeper's indicating it's a little down. I think she's fine. Just a little bit of cleaning going on, and
like
we should have a nose hit.
Force of one.
So Manitoba picks up one in the sixth end and takes a 5-4 lead after 6. It's kind of an interesting end, We mentioned at the very start that Manitoba wants to score in that end. They definitely want to score. They don't want to give up a steal. prefer 2, but are willing to take 1. And then on the other side of that, BC really did exactly what they wanted to do, force Manitoba to take 1. So all in all, both teams should be happy with that result.
Right. So we'll see. Manitoba throw up a center guard probably, by the looks of things.
Yeah. How do you think that they should approach this one now, particularly if you're BC? You're down 1 with the Hammer playing 7.
Well, that's a good question. I guess if I had the Hammer, I'd probably go hard for 2 here and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, you will see some teams, if you're Manitoba, just jumping to Manitoba for a second, you will see some teams throw this in the house and say, look, I'm only going in here, and if you guys want your 2, you're going to have to work at it. I think I like to really try to force in this end. If I'm Manitoba, I'm up 1 without, and I'm willing to give up 2, but if I can steal 1, I'm feeling really good. So
right.
I would get a little aggressive if I'm both teams, actually. If I'm either team here, I'm going to get a little bit aggressive, I think, in trying to score. BC, as the end moves along, might change that and say, okay, well, we're far enough along now that we get the opportunity to blank, which is great for them.
I guess I look at the fact if I can get 2 and force 1, then I have the Hammer in the extra end. So it all depends on what your preference is.
Yep. No, that's all good. So this shot's not going to help BC very much, though. That would be a little disappointment with that one. They really didn't want that to be short. Now you got Manitoba going to be in that position where they do get to go a little harder at it, and they've got their own guard short of the rings by a couple of feet, and the red one out in front of that, which is probably helping them more than BC.
Yes.
So the outturn come around for lead Ruth Wiebe. Hopefully we're saying her name correctly. We get a chance to check that one out.
As we mentioned earlier, this is Ruth's 9th appearance at the Canadian Masters.
Yeah, that's amazing.
She's a veteran. I had a 13.4 at the hog line, so
should be a little heavy.
It's a little heavy, maybe back house.
Yeah. Yeah, back there a little way. So probably 24 and a half, I would imagine, something like that for speed.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. That's great speed.
That's a comfortable speed. Any faster, it gets touchy, and any slower, it's a challenge.
So Donna Christian gets a chance to make up for the last one that stopped a little short. Her outturn come around here.
Looks like we have I think the Alberta Prince Edward Island game maybe finished.
Yeah, they have. They shook hands.
They're shaking hands, and the score indicated is 6-2 for Alberta over Prince Edward Island men.
Yeah, and I think Alberta scored a couple there, forcing the end of that one, but that's a good team from Alberta. Skip Lukowicz here with his team, most of whom, if not all, were at the seniors last week. Certainly a contender, undefeated at this point. And the best news of all is that the Alberta cheerleading squad now doesn't have to split their efforts. They can move over and really put the emphasis into the ladies' game, because I think they might be down 1 over there.
Yes, they're waving.
Well, they're getting one last cheer for the men first. Yeah.
So the final for the Lukowicz PEI game was actually 8-2.
8-2, yeah.
This looked like a dandy shot here, Jim.
Great shot, yeah. Once again, we've seen so many good ones, and they continue to make them. Both teams get in a little trouble, and somebody on the team bails them out usually, so that's good.
Update on sheet 2, Ontario leading 4-3 over Alberta women. Tight game, lots of rocks in play.
So we got an outturn hit on the way here for BC second Susan Beuk. This one's got to curl a little bit. Diane Foster trying to work it over there a little. See if she has any luck. No, just real close, but just slides on by a little bit. Whole directional sweeping thing for me is I think you've got to commit, and it's hard to commit when you're sweeping a rock that has to curl. It's just hard to believe you have to go.
Yes.
And I think you have to go, generally speaking, I think you have to go early if you're going to make that work. A little bit on some of the soft weight shots with the big guys that can really pound it at the end, can really move it across. But I really think that if you're going to use it, you got to commit and you got to go at it really early. If somebody's a little wide out of the hand, a little heavy out of the hand, then you got to go then. You can't wait till you get 3/4 of the way down the sheet.
Yeah, it certainly is a skill to learn new technique.
Yeah, hopefully they'll do something about the material, and we won't have to worry about it next year because it's a bit of a, I don't want to say a joke. It's just made the game too easy for the best teams, I think. That's my opinion.
I think that's a general consensus listening to our professional commentators and the teams that, you know, we have to take put some of the
skill back
in it.
So great guard went up there by Manitoba. BC forced to kind of run this red one back and try to make something happen and open this up a little bit. They definitely don't want to be in a position where they can't get shot rock at the end. They'd rather take one and take their chances in the last end tied up than end up giving up one. So straight peel here, I think. I thought they might be trying to run it back, but they're sweeping it for the straight peel. So good shot.
I'm going to give a shout out to my old Avenir Curling Club folks in Edmonton, Alberta. I did my nurses training there way back 100 years ago, and we had a Royal Alexander Hospital curling Friday nights, and it was a great time.
Well, that's good. Hopefully you've got some of your classmates listening, and maybe we'll hear from them.
Yes, Alberta men winning their game handily 8-2, and Alberta women in a fight over here on sheet 2 with Team Ontario.
Yeah, Alberta down one over there. They're going to need a little help from the crowd, but I'm sure that it's anybody's game still. So Manitoba playing the intern come around now. Going to go real aggressive here. I like that. I like the call.
Yes. They've been good so far, Jim, on these calls.
I'll tell you, man, it's pretty cool to watch. These guys have got the draw weight figured out beautifully. What it would also tell me is probably both curling clubs are pretty close to the same for draw weight. If they weren't, it would be really difficult to go back and forth and really have a good feel for draw weight. So I'm thinking that, you know, here and the Glooscap Club and Kemptville probably are very, very similar for speed.
That's a very good point, and I think the maintenance of the ice is as important as the sort of the making of it. And I had a tip from an old friend of mine years ago, Shorty Jenkins. He said it really was the maintenance part was as important as the making. Yeah.
That's a good shot. Diane makes that shot. I see how it lines up here. Lines up pretty good, I think, for BC. Actually lines up great. So great shot for Diane Foster. Timeout being called by Manitoba. I'm not surprised. It's time to have a little look at this and see what they need to do.
I think this is our first official timeout, Jim, for the team talk.
Yeah, both teams get 2 timeouts, I would think. That's the norm. Last week was 2 timeouts, so I assume that that's the case for this event as well.
I was watching the men's worlds, and I'm not sure, but they get 1 timeout per game?
Yeah, the world level, they get 1. They get one 60-second timeout, and the coach gets a chance to get out on the sheet. So, not on the sheet, but in the ice surface. They give them 60 seconds or 90 seconds to get there. Here, they call a 90-second timeout, and that's what it is. 90 seconds from the time they call the timeout, and if you're going out, you need to get out there within that time.
Right.
I know I coached it, and I'll tell you, it's a bit of a challenge. I coached at the women's qualifier in Sheldon earlier this year, and you know, by the time you go across the sheets and down the sheets and wait for a couple of people that are throwing, sometimes you get down there with not a whole lot of time left.
Yes, especially like you say, if the timeouts are at the away end.
Well, exactly, and if you call the timeout, that's where you're going to go, and the other team would be at this end, and they're not actually allowed to start talking until you get down there. But
right. I haven't seen coaches out on the ice with the Masters, Jim.
Well, are there many teams here that have coaches?
I'm not sure.
I would think probably not. There'd probably be a couple, but with a coach or a 5th player / coach, and I'm not sure that these teams get funded for the extra person. I'm pretty sure that's not the case. So it's a pretty expensive
trip.
Yeah, expensive trip to bring a coach along with you.
Well, I'm voting for a World Masters competition.
You are? Okay.
After watching this week.
Yeah.
Alberta says so are they.
Well, they're biased, though. They're sitting on a team at 5-0 over there. We just got to, But yeah, no, that would be a great event for sure. I don't even know if they do that on an unofficial level at this point. I guess not.
I don't think so, but
No.
it really would promote sort of healthy aspect too for seniors.
Yeah, for sure, no question. It's it would be a great thing. I know next year at the national level they're talking about having a national under 18 event.
Right, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be good too.
I got about a 14-3 here, Jim.
Well,
Hog
this
to
should
hog.
be really close then. Karen Sheldon with a really nice draw. She's just had great weight.
She's been a pistol all game.
Yeah. So I think you have to make a play on this one. You'll be able to run yours back eventually, but right now I don't think it would do you any good. You'd end up with number 2, and they just guarded this one up. So big shot for Diane Foster. She needs to make this one to put BC in a position to maybe even get a couple here. Expect this to be pretty close.
There she's got about 1.5 foot of ice there. Maybe not quite, but
yeah, it might be a tad light. Sweeper's going hard. Going to be hard pressed to get this one by the guards. Diane shaking her head, so she's not happy. The worst thing about this, it might mess up the angles for that other shot that we were looking at. Maybe not. Still not too bad, I think. Yeah.
I don't know. I may have interfered with the run back later.
Yeah, I don't know. The overhead look might be able to tell. There you go. Thanks, Scott. Well, I think you can drag it right into the shot rock. Get a little bit on the outside of the blue, and you're going to drag it right over on top of that one. So it still lines up. They're not in real bad shape, but Manitoba is sitting 2 and drawing to maybe sit 3 or perhaps guarding. I didn't see. We were too busy looking at the other shot. We'll know in a second.
Would you ever be tempted to freeze to your own shot rock?
Sure, yeah. I'd give it some thought. I really don't have any issue with going right around this and sitting on that one. I think that's a good shot. I might just throw the straight guard if they didn't have this run back on this side, but since they have that, I'd be thinking another run in there is not a bad thing at all. A few groans in the crowd. A little bad break over on sheet 2 for the Team Alberta. Laying a shot to sit 2, I think, and they ended up jamming one. So that game might have got broken open. So Manitoba's last shot or second last shot? Second last shot. Tips first shot. Playing the intern. It looks like maybe they're trying to get right in there, or they're certainly sweeping hard.
I think regardless, it's going to be an advantage for Manitoba one in. That's a guard. Just biting.
Not a bad shot for sure. I just think that, if you were right in there, then, it makes this shot a little bit harder, but still did a good job. I mean, BC's in tough shape here. Even if they make a shot here, they're still only in a position to get one, which at the start of the end for Manitoba, you would have said, well, that's perfect. We'll go with that.
Right. A little further in, like you say, may have blocked the run back a bit, but we'll see what happens.
But you got to make this one. This is one that Karen played a couple of ends ago. Remember, she was playing a similar sort of shot, and
certainly capable of making this.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Nice thing with this is the weight matters, but it doesn't. Doesn't matter that much. You can be a little up or a little down here as long as you get enough weight to move the red one into the button area.
Right. We have seen on sheet 2, Ontario broke the game open there a little bit with a 3-ender, so it's now 7-3 for Ontario over Alberta.
Yeah, tough now for Alberta over there. Down 4 is not one that you make happen very often.
They're coming home in the 8th end now. Our game a little slower.
Well, I don't know what that game's been like, but this game has been great and tons of rocks in play, so I'm not surprised to see it's taken a little while.
Mm-hmm. Still time, lots
I think
of time.
they got to go on this. It's really close.
Lined up. Oh, dandy. to get it out far enough.
Great shot, just needed another foot of weight.
Very good shot, nonetheless. Just, you're right, Jim, just need a little bit more
Yeah,
speed on that.
Yeah, just a little bit more. The sweeper's certainly interesting. I thought that was going to take right off, but they held it there really well.
They did knock the shot rock to the back of the 4 foot, so
Yeah.
it's behind, well behind the tee line.
Yeah, it's just going to be really hard to get to it. It'll be interesting to see what Manitoba does here. They're looking at maybe playing that same shot, similar shot, and running it across and taking the red one out. But I don't think it lines up right now, and I don't think even with the drag effect that you can actually make that. I think
right.
you're going to hit your top blue, so I don't think they'll play that shot.
Do you think there's a possibility to hit the red blue in, or?
Yeah, there's a possibility for sure. I don't know. I'm not convinced that that's the best option here. We'll have to see for a second. You want to make sure you don't leave BC with a better opportunity than they have right now to score. And right now they have a very, very difficult task to try to score a point. There's no good way to get in there. The angles aren't very good on the one she just hit to be able to find a way to make that score. So,
is there any possibility for a draw?
I think that's the only possibility. So I think if you take this in-turn draw away, then BC almost could throw it away, and not that you'd want to down one already, but I don't think there's a place that they can score. I really don't.
So you'd prefer this one to be T-line?
I'm not throwing this one in the house just because I don't want to set something up, Edie. I think I'm throwing this just top 12 or just outside the 12 foot. All you really need to do here is make sure you take enough ice to take the draw away.
Right.
The draw, maybe even the draw top, because he doesn't have to move it very far. So just make sure you have lots of ice, and if you leave a hole that's a foot wide, that's probably not a big deal. But if it overcurls and doesn't do anything, that's a bigger deal. So, so I think it's just a rock somewhere, a guard rather, a few feet in front of the house is good.
Sometimes a risk reward. Our brains get greedy, and we want to sink another one in there and finish it off.
Yeah. Oh, there would be teams that would be tempted, and I think I'm just pretty happy to steal one, and I definitely wouldn't want to throw it and then afterwards say, well, we gave them a better chance of getting two than they even had to get one.
I think statistically, if you're 2 up without the hammer, your chances of winning are pretty good.
Yeah, I think you're right.
We don't have Jerry Gertz here to give us any of the stats.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Maybe he can email us.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. What are the odds? Pretty good. Could have probably stood to been out a little further, but I think that probably does the job. It's going to be a really tough draw. I think you can make it, though. I'm not sure that you can that has taken a whole lot of the shot away. It certainly took a little tiny bit, but not maybe very much.
I think it is there.
Yeah. You see that very often. You certainly see that all the time at club level where people throw the guard and they just, for whatever reason, we never seem to move the broom out far enough because we don't want to leave a hole.
Right.
And the reality is if you leave a hole that's, like I say, probably a foot or 18 inches wide, that's a heck of a hard shot.
Yes.
And so more often than not, if you see a miss, it's on the overcurl and you end up guarding nothing, really. You just guard rocks that didn't need to be guarded. And this is not an easy shot. Don't get me wrong. Karen Lepine has a hard shot here, but I think if she can nail the weight here, and if they can sweep it properly, then I think there is a possibility of scoring and maybe scoring two.
Well, 2 would be hard, but a possibility.
Yeah. Well, it's on its way, so we'll find out here soon. Looks pretty good. Sweeper's getting off, indicating a little bit heavy, maybe. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but it's got to curl a long way.
Pointing to the outside. So.
Yeah. So Karen trying to go after the 2, I think, there, and just didn't quite get over. So looks like, didn't see that coming.
So that's a steal, or?
No, she just moved that in.
Steal
a 1 for BC. BC jumps out to a 6-4 lead, playing the 8th end. Great end by, did I say BC jumps out?
Manitoba.
Yeah, Manitoba. Apologize for that. Manitoba steals 1, jumps out to a 6-4 lead, playing the 8th end. Down 2, certainly not an impossible task. You would expect to have at least an opportunity. 1 corner guard gives you the opportunity to score a couple of points. Surprised to see BC throw a couple out here. Manitoba asking for a draw just to the top of the 4 foot.
And this would be the sort of most popular type of call, wouldn't it, Jim, for the situation?
Absolutely, yeah.
Up to coming home without?
Oh, definitely, yeah. You're going to throw that first one in, and then after that, some teams, what will happen here is probably this. You're going to have this draw come into the 4-foot. You're going to see the corner guard go up, and then some teams would throw the next one through, and some teams will throw it basically right on top of the one they just threw. So we'll see how these guys go about it. So
That's
that
a
shot's
great
made.
shot.
Yeah, made perfect. Karen will ask for the corner guard. So the out-turn corner guard coming here.
We'll see how the peeling gods are working in this end in a little while.
Yeah, the nice thing about curling these days with the rules, 4-rock rule, basically they can't hit any of these for a couple of shots, so you do get an opportunity to put something in play.
I have heard rumor of maybe 5-rock rule coming in at some point in time. I'm not sure.
Well, I think at the very big league level, if you want to call it that pro level, for lack of a better term, they have to do something, because the tick shot getting to be a gimme for most of those teams, and if directional sweeping stays, then it really isn't a factor at all. So it becomes, the tick shot becomes far too easy, and teams don't really get that opportunity to develop. So, yeah, that might happen.
We see that BC did get their way up top, just over the hog line.
Yeah, a little long for sure, but I think they can use it. Here's the throw through that we mentioned before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some teams, I guess I agree with this, although I probably would be tempted to freeze to my own, although easier said than done. You don't want to bump it back behind the...
Yeah, I actually like the throw through, because I do find that the teams play themselves into trouble where they end up spending so much time trying to avoid jamming rocks on their own rocks, wherever they are in the house. So I kind of like that idea.
Just put it through and take it out of the equation.
Yeah, I probably, you just said. Well, I'm sure that half of the games I play, I probably don't do what I say I'm going to do here, but
I'd never do that.
No, I just go brain dead when I play, I think. So, good shot there. Personally would have liked another corner guard. I think I like that second corner guard better, but
yes.
But it's here and it's in play. She has to play it, so we'll see what goes on here.
I do like the second corner guard shot too.
Yeah, it's not that you have to have two to manufacture two, but any chance at a 3, you certainly need to have that second corner guard. And unfortunately here, even if she hits the guard on this one, you're going to have to be perfect the rest of the way, and that's tough.
We know Nancy Scammell's on deck now, and she's been shooting great.
Yeah, she's not going to have any trouble. Makes that one perfect. There's the 2 rocks. Another chance for a different call if you like. Karen might go around. Little bump. That's maybe a good call as well.
Yes, it is. Jiggle them around a little bit.
Yeah, you can tap this roll behind the corner and move the other blue one behind the tee line. That's sets up a definite possible. That's a good way to say it. Definite possible,
maybe.
Yeah.
And she might, you never know, she might even get a little roll behind the red one, which is a long guard.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Girls are going to have to go real hard on this.
Susan Beuk throwing.
Got to go hard.
We hope we don't get a complete miss here.
I think she's going through the hole. I think she's got the field goal.
Oh, that's a big miss.
Yeah, it is a big miss, and too bad. So Manitoba will now peel that corner guard. Good news for BC. They still have that same shot they just called is still available. You can bump it back, hit it on the nose, move the one behind the guard, put yours in a position where it's difficult to remove.
Sure. Susan would like to have that one back, I'm sure.
Yeah, just never get out there. It's not the side you want to miss on for sure. So Manitoba playing the peel. Out-turn peel. This one's got to curl a little too, but they're on it. We know it does curl here. We saw a lot of nose hits earlier.
Nancy Scammell.
Yeah,
coming up with another shot.
He's going to leave a corner. I might think real hard about ducking around that corner guard, actually. I know it's tough to leave 2 blue ones in the house, but it's not a bad time to come around that corner, because you're not going to be by the time you get to your 3rd stone, it's going to be too late.
Right. We see that we finished up on sheet 2. Ontario finished score not up, but the last score posted was 7-3.
They ran them out of the rocks.
Over Alberta, sorry.
Well, that's a great shot.
Very good
shot. Pretty much did exactly what was called.
Now you've got the two Jim.
You do, yep. You have something to work with.
The two Manitoba Stones are there as catchers.
Yeah, Manitoba has to be a little careful for sure. A little wide here and you jam, a little narrow and you jam. So that's always a possibility for sure. He's sweeping this one. Work hard, try to punch it right through that hole. I don't hear a lot of panic, so I think she's in pretty good shape. Maybe.
Right on the nose. Great shot.
Yeah, shot. Still got lots to work with for BC. A couple of rocks on the tee line. They're not yours, but they're there.
That was Karen Sheldon from Manitoba team, third. That now Manitoba team setting 3 blue and BC trying to generate 2 points. They still have rocks to play with and freeze to and come around. May have an extra in, you never know.
Oh yeah, no, lots of opportunity yet for BC. They're not anywhere near being out of the possibility of getting 2 here. Diane Foster makes a good shot here, makes a good freeze. I think they got to wait on this one. It's got a curl. Again, hard when you're a sweeper and you know you got to go, but
good speed.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they couldn't get on it. Just the line just wasn't quite there. Must have been just a hair too much ice, probably. I thought she threw it really well.
Yeah, she looked like she did.
A lot more rocks around than Manitoba would like at this point, but fortunately for them, most of them at least are theirs so far. So we have an 18 out turn take out. A little narrow on this one. This one's going to be real close to a jam.
We're hitting her.
Oh, yeah.
I think she's on her own in the front, Jim.
She might, yeah, but watch this.
No. Picked it out. Wow, that was all over the garden and backed up.
Yeah, a little bit fortunate on that one for sure, no question. You're certainly last thing you're ever thinking about is hitting it on that side.
Karen's smiling. She knows she got away with that one.
Yeah, and that's fine. You got to it's a long week. You got to get away with a few. So Diane Foster will be asked to throw basically the same shot, I think. I think that's what they call, although it doesn't look like a whole lot of ice.
No, it looks... coming up here to get the end set up for 2 for BC. Girls are sweeping. Looks like it's over-curling a little bit, Jim.
Just by a little bit.
Not bad, though.
Quite so hard. It might have a little bit of a dish here. It might just be a little bit lower in the center. Great effort, perfect weight.
Yes.
Just you need another 6 inches ice, or 4 inches. You need a little more anyway.
Yes. Now the Manitoba calling for out turn on this one, Jim.
Yep. This is a preference kind of shot. Whatever turn you like to throw best is what I'm going to throw here. You know, a lot of times you'd see people play the in-turn here just so that you can hold it with the brooms versus the out-turn. Sometimes you get, you got to wait on it. So, but I think it's just personal preference, really. Whichever one you prefer, go ahead and throw. So the out-turn hit now. Skip Pat Malanchuk from Manitoba. It's been a great game. We only have 4 rocks to come unless we get to an extra end, but terrific game here at the Wolfville Curling Club.
Right.
Both teams should be pretty pleased with how they play. I mean, somebody's going to not be quite as pleased. The loser's never quite as happy as the winner.
Pat appearing in her 4th Canadian Masters Curling Championship.
So she's got on the way. Early wall. They got to go hard.
Seems to be bending there quite a bit, Jim.
Yeah, they got to go real hard.
Maybe
I thought she was a little tight out of her hand, but maybe not. Looks good.
Gonna pick it.
Yeah. They know the ice. They know they can hold it there.
Very good pick.
Yeah, great shot.
Probably good just as well that her shooter rolled out, Jim. There.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You don't want to roll over to the back of the button there somewhere and have Karen come down and sit one right on top of it. Tough call here. You can play the same freeze you just played a couple of times, or you can ignore it all and around the guard.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to come around. Diane's looking at the freeze maybe. They have played this a couple times, but
I really like the come around call.
yeah, me too. I think it might give you the best opportunity. It's really, really hard to make a great freeze. You know, and you can play the come around. You have a few to work with. Even if you don't get shot, you do have an opportunity maybe on the next shot to do something great and score your 2. Tough call out. No matter what she throws, she has to throw it perfect.
True. I think the come around does give her more of a chance to generate the 2.
Oh, you can't. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
she's must have heard me.
Yeah, Karen's decided she definitely wants to play the come around. This is where, you know, even you have a discussion about this as a skip and a third, and then you really, at the end of the deal, you have to defer to the skip, and whatever they decide, you need to say, okay. Timeout on 3. Sheet 3 here, the only sheet in play. Girls are going to talk about it a little bit more. I'm not, or maybe not. Maybe they just want to make sure they don't have time issues, and that's possible.
And they've got 2 minutes and 18 remaining, so the time, but looks like they're coming back down for team discussion.
Yep. And it was a little odd time out there. Diane sort of called it after they left. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, they have a coach, these guys. I didn't realize that.
I didn't see him.
Yeah. So it might even have been the coach. Had a voice in this. He can't signal. He can't call timeouts, but he can signal to his team to call the timeout, if you will.
I'm just looking to see. It says Lepine on the...
Yeah, I'm guessing it's probably Karen's husband, would be my guess. So they're going to have a little more discussion. I think at the end of the day, they're going to play the come around. It's just a matter of which way.
A little more room on the out turn.
Yeah, there is definitely more room. I think this one's about whichever turn you think is going to curl the best. You need to make it good. You can't sort of make a half-hearted attempt.
Looks like they're going to go with the intern.
Yeah, they've changed it up. Not sure why, but for whatever reason, they must have decided that this is actually the better option.
So
I'll tell you, the one thing it does, sorry, Edie, if you come around this rock and you end up, let's say, full 8-foot, the full white circle at the top, and you're maybe number 2, you might be able to get it in a position where if they go after it, they jam on the shot rock, which would be good, right? So be good for BC anyways. You know, it's just, you know, they'll probably not do that. They'll probably play the run back on the blue if you're in that position.
You're in Manitoba, right.
Yeah. But anyway, got to put this one in the house somewhere for starters to make sure you get to the next shot.
It's the last game of this draw on the ice at the moment.
Yeah. Everybody was nice of all the curlers to make sure that the TV game was the one everybody focused on at the end. This one's on its way, and in turn the girls are on it a little bit.
I almost think it looks like she's trying to...
I think it looks pretty good. Sweeper Diane Foster going out to help them.
Really bending.
They have to get it by.
Bending.
Have to get it by.
Really sweeping hard. No, she's got a...
That was so close to being perfect. You know, a few more inches of ice maybe, or just another 3 feet of weight, and it's ideal. Probably just the weight, really, because it was, you know, it was pretty close to getting by as it was.
It's a little bit more speed.
Yeah, I think Manitoba's going to have a hard time finding some place to put this one that's going to cause them any grief. It's going to be really difficult. I'm not sure there is a shot for
2
for BC at this point for 2. No. Matter of fact, I would dare say there probably isn't. So as crazy as it sounds, you do have to be a little careful with this one, because every now and then you put a rock in a place where you give the team an opportunity to play something. It might be very difficult, but you get to play something. And right now, I think if you threw this one away, I'm not sure that the BC can score 2 points. They would have to make one heck of a shot.
Sure. I think I agree with you, just to throw it away.
Yeah, if you ever throw this into the 8-foot in the wrong place, maybe just set it up a little bit, the angle's up a little bit wrong. If Karen can throw it hard enough, you never know. I think the good news for both these teams is they just look like great curling teams. So I'm expecting to see both these teams in the championship round.
Yes, me too.
Manitoba, they just basically throw them in the 4-foot every shot. There's no problems at all.
Sure have their draw weight down.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like a shake hands game, Jim.
Yeah, it's interesting, but I throw this one. I'm surprised to see, and this is one I mentioned a minute ago, that it is possible to put this rock in a place where they could make something out of it.
Right.
I'm not sure that this is in that spot, but it's really close to that spot. That rock stops 3 inches shorter. You make the double and roll over here. Might make the triple.
It's there.
Yeah, it is there. I don't know if they can hard enough is my problem, but I think you go ahead and throw it. It's only going to take another 45 seconds to do that.
Sure, they started to shake hands, and Diane Foster said,
Yeah,
no, we're not quite
Diane
done yet.
said, wait a second, yeah. No, I agree with her. I think you throw this one.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm just not totally convinced the angles are 100%, but what the heck.
Give it a go.
Yeah, and if you've ever thrown one hard, throw this one hard.
Right. I have, but never hit the broom.
Yeah, me too. You're the same. Yeah, you're like me. Yeah. Yeah. So this is going to be a shot that she was looking to hit the rock. You can see the broom that Diane's holding. Picture just hitting the rock a little bit to the left of that broom. Probably about 2 or 3 inches to the left of that broom. Make the real thin double and roll over and take the blue one out, 3, and play an extra end. Sounds pretty easy.
There's always a possibility.
Yep. The key to this is throwing it hard. You really got to find some weight on this one.
We need a Kevin Cooey.
She's made an effort at throwing that weight.
Wow, looks good.
Got to go hard. Got to go real hard.
Got to back it up a little bit.
No, not going to get by.
Not going to get by. Good attempt, though. I don't blame her for trying.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. She holds that a little tiny bit straighter. You never know. So that ends our game here. So Jim Nix and Edie Lloyd, thank you very much for tuning in and taking in this game. Team Manitoba ends up with a 6-4 victory over Team BC in a great curling game. So we look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow. Bell Alliant TV1 with you from now till the end. Thank you very much for viewing.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.